Probably got a decent camera on your phone. It probably takes video pretty well. So why are young people buying up old school digital cameras and camcorders that we thought we left in drawers in the 90s and early 2000s? On tomorrow's show, the story behind the retro photography aesthetic. As always, if you aren't by the radio, try asking your smart speaker to play NPR or your member station by name. You're listening to All Things Considered from NPR News. The late character actor Harry Dean Stanton was born 100 years ago today, and for more than a decade, there's been a festival in his home state of Kentucky to pay tribute to his life and career. Derek Operly with member station WKMS was in Lexington for the festival this weekend and has this report.
Harry Dean Stanton was a quintessential that guy of American cinema. He appeared in more than 200 films and TV shows over his 6-decade career, working with iconic directors like Francis Ford Coppola, David Lynch, and John Carpenter. More than 100 fans spread out on the lawn of the cemetery where Stanton is buried to watch the festival's opening film. In 1967's Cool Hand Luke, Stanton plays the most musical member of a Florida chain gang.
Gonna hold my body down. Oh, I said a lot of people don't know who he is by his name.
That's Kelly Boston, general manager of the cemetery, who was dusting off Stanton's gravesite.
And do you share the movies that he was in, and then they know exactly who he is.
Like the working class dad in the movie Pretty in Pink, or Brett, the ill-fated engineer in Alien. And he starred in the movie Paris, Texas, which won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. In that film, he plays an aimless drifter who talks to a woman as he looks for a father figure in a magazine.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the father.
Your father?
No, just a father. Any father. What does a father look like?
There are many different kinds of fathers, Senor Travis.
Well, I just need one.
Stanton's storied career is what inspired Lucy Jones and the Lexington Film League to start the festival 14 years ago, to pay tribute to the late actor who grew up about an hour outside of Lexington.
Character actors are the folks that make the films, but they're the folks who are not heralded. They're not the household names. So we felt that at least in Lexington, Kentucky, we wanted to make sure that Harry Dean Stanton was a household name.
Indie film director Allison Anders, who met Stanton on the set of Paris, Texas, often attends the festival. She says he was one of a kind.
I think there's an authenticity, and I have to say it's being born in Kentucky. You know, I just think that Kentuckians are always who they are.
Stanton never won an Academy Award or got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He died at the age of 91 in 2017. But Stanton did attend the festival once before his death, and his cousin Jim Huggins says he was moved by what's now become a Kentucky tradition.
He genuinely loved this idea, so going into his 100th year, I know Harry's here in spirit because he would love this. He loved it from day one.
Organizers aim to keep Stanton's star shining bright in his home state in the years to come, with Harry Dean Stanton Fest as a living monument to the late character actor. For NPR News, I'm Derek Operly in Lexington, Kentucky.
This is All Things Considered from NPR News.
All right. right, get this. Back in the 1970s, there was actually a proposal for a federal jobs guarantee.
So an American who remains persistently unemployed, in theory, would have been able to sue the federal government for relief and damages.
I'm Kyle Rizdal. What that bill became instead. Next time on Marketplace.
Tune in for Marketplace, beginning at 6 on Radio IQ.
Corporate support for Radio IQ is provided by Hillcom, a wireless internet service provider for Dickinson County. Details at hillcom.tech. And from Carilion Clinic Cardiovascular Institute, assisting patients with the goal of a return to everyday life. More information at carillionclinic.org/CVI.
A piece of traffic information to pass your way at this hour. We have a disabled tractor trailer in Pulaski County on I-81 southbound at mile marker 94.4. The south right lane and right shoulder are both closed, causing some significant slowdowns in that area. Again, that's the scene of a disabled tractor trailer in Pulaski County on I-81 south, mile marker 94.4. Chance to check current conditions around the Radio IQ listening area. Lots of sunshine out there right now. 83 degrees in Blacksburg. It's 87 degrees in both Roanoke and Lynchburg. 90 degrees right now in Charlottesville. 88 in Richmond. Mostly sunny in Fredericksburg. 91 degrees. Also mostly sunny in Danville. 89. Sunshine in Stanton. 88 degrees. Just a bit cooler. 82 degrees. Sunny in Wise. Thanks so much for being with us for All Things Considered on this Tuesday evening on Radio IQ.
It's All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Scott Detrow.
And I'm Elsa Chang. Spain is going back to the World Cup final. That's right. The Spanish team thumped France 2-0 in a thrilling semifinal match today. It marks Spain's return to the men's final for the first time since they won the tournament back in 2010. Reporter Steve Futterman watched the game in Arlington, Texas, and joins us now. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Elsa.
I am so jealous you got to watch this game. Okay. How did Spain manage to hold off France?
Well, it was an amazing job, but I think people sometimes forget, we've talked about France so much, and France is a great team, but so is Spain. They are the defending, reigning European champions. Now, France, of course, had played the last two World Cup finals, winning in 2018, runner-up 2022 to Argentina, and France did enter this game with arguably the best attacking offense, but Spain had the best defense. And you knew it was going to be a tight match given those two extremes, but it was Spain that managed to come out on top. Scoring started in the 21st minute. Spain scored on a penalty kick, which came after a foul against the Spanish 19-year-old star Lamine Yamal. The Spaniards added another goal midway through the second half, and that was all Spain needed.
Wait, can we talk more about France and its strong offensive? Like, they have this stellar trio of attackers on that team. What happened to those attackers on the French team?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, a lot of it has to be credited to the Spanish defense, but you're right. France has Kylian Mbappe, arguably the best player in the world. They also have Ousmane Dembele. They have Michael Olise. But let's remember, Mbappe entered this game as the leader in the Golden Boot race. So much was expected from him. He came close on numerous times. He was trying to get crossing passes. They would just miss getting to him. And he came so close so many times. But again, you have to credit the Spanish defense. His best chance, Mbappe's best chance, probably came in the final minutes. He was just a few feet in front of the net, had pretty much an open shot, but Spain's Marc Cucurella just barely kicked it away. So Spain just had a better game plan.
Heartbreaking. I mean, Mbappe, he had a streak of 20 goals in 20 World Cup games. Did I get that right? It was insane.
Something like that. I mean, he's just a remarkable player.
Yeah. Okay. So, Steve, going into the final, do you see Spain as the favorite? I mean, what do you think at this point?
I think you have to feel that way. I mean, coming into the World Cup, most people felt France and Spain were the top two teams. So we'll find out tomorrow who they will play. Argentina, of course, is the reigning champion and trying to make history, become only the third nation to win back-to-back titles. England, of course, I mean, you ask any English football fan, they know the year 1966. That's the last time England won the World Cup. So they'll be battling to face Spain. But I think on Sunday, either team will be the underdog against Spain.
So exciting. That is reporter Steve Futterman in Arlington, Texas. Thank you so much, Steve.
Thanks, Elsa.
We have heard a lot from teachers about high schoolers and how they're using AI, but teenagers have opinions on the technology.
So I'm very against AI.
I think it's like an amazing tool to use. I would have to say I'd put myself in the middle. I'm not exactly pessimistic or optimistic.
Reporter Lee Gaines spoke to 7 teenagers about how they are thinking about AI and what the technology could mean for their futures.
I'm Charles Ansevin. I'm 15 years old, and I live in Gates Mills, Ohio.
And so how do you use it currently? Like, how does it show up in your life?
I don't use AI to cheat, but I use AI as a companion. AI is like my friend. And we've been able to have very meaningful, intelligent discussions.
I'm Ethan Ansevin. I'm 18 years old. Charles is my brother. I ask it like running questions all the time because I do track and cross country. So like I'll ask it, how should I eat on race day? Like run me through like what time I should get each meal in and snack in.
I'm Damian McCulley. I'm 18. I think it's beneficial for me to complete things when I need it or when I need help and I don't have anyone to help me.
Like, for example, if I'm stuck on a math problem, my homework, and I don't have access to my teacher. My name is Rita Desai. I'm 16 years old and I'm from River Edge, New Jersey. It's a really good way to just input an equation in, you get the explanation of the steps, and you see the final answer.
How do your teachers feel about your use of AI?
My English teacher, she allowed us to use AI to help us out with our outlines for our essays. And that helped a lot because it was almost like having a teacher kind of grade your essay or your outline.
I'm Natalie Vatican. I'm 15 years old and I'm from Oradell, New Jersey.
I think they like have nothing against it. But there's a saying like in one of the rooms in our school, it's like, never ask AI to do something your teacher wouldn't do for you.
I guess I'd love to hear an example of a time where like it's really been very helpful and reassuring to you when it comes
Teaching you.
Teaching you? Yeah, tell me more about that.
I've asked AI to teach me certain biological processes that no matter how hard I try to concentrate in actual biology class, it just not clicked with me, but AI just knows how to click.
And I think it's just this opportunity to have sort of like a private tutor that maybe other students cannot afford. I'm Tessa Klein. I'm 18 years old and I'm from Oradell, New Jersey.
I don't really like to like spend a lot of time trying to learn something. I'd rather just learn it like as quick as I can. AI has been really useful in that regard. Like it just makes the whole process of like doing homework or trying to like study for something like a lot quicker.
My name is Dorian Prado. I'm 16.
Are you worried about becoming reliant on it, like overly dependent?
It makes it where thinking is optional, and that should never be the case.
I think we're hearing adults saying, you know, this cognitive offloading, it's dangerous and it takes away thought and it takes away analysis. And I think we need to be careful in the way that we use it.
When assignments or time's ticking to turn them in, it's like, well, I'm running out of time. I know this platform is going to help me get it done in a snap of a finger. So they're going to go run to that immediately. And I've seen that a lot.
You don't think, you don't learn. It's making us dumber because we don't have to think as much. It's kind of like how doom scrolling makes your attention span go lower. The more you feed into the bad habit, the more it damages you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of young people I've talked to who are worried about what AI is going to do to their future job market. Is that something that you're thinking about?
I think for me personally, like I want to be a psychologist when I'm older. And I don't think a chatbot can ever replace an actual human psychologist.
If AI is running everything, what's our purpose, you know? So I don't want it to throw off jobs and things like that. Like that's their only way of bringing in income to feed their families. And if we have a machinery that's taking over that, then what are they going to do?
AI can't really come up with new ideas. It can't come up with new logic. It just uses what it knows. But people, they can come up with more revolutionary ideas.
And I'm still going to try my best to have meaningful discussions around humans. It's just, will those humans want to have meaningful discussions with me?
7 teenagers from New Jersey, Ohio, Indiana, and Texas speaking with reporter Lee Gaines.
You're listening to All Things Considered from NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from Workday, an enterprise AI platform for HR, finance, and IT, dedicated to providing precision and the ability to not just help get work done, but get it done right. It's a new Workday. From Progressive Insurance, where drivers can bundle and customize their home and auto insurance in one place with the goal of protecting what matters most. Coverage options at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. From Fisher Investments. As a fiduciary, Fisher Investments is obligated to act in their client's interest. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss. And from the Public Welfare Foundation.
Support for Radio IQ comes from Garth Newell Music Center in Bath County, with live and live streaming chamber music and optional dining every weekend through Labor Day. Details at garthnewell.org.
You're listening to Radio IQ on WVTF Roanoke, WRIQ Charles City Richmond, WVTU Charlottesville, WVTW Charlottesville, WVTR Marion, WISE FM Wise, WQIQ Spotsylvania, WIQR Lexington, WEHC Emory, HD3 of WURV Richmond, and on 92.5 Richmond and 94.9 Fredericksburg. Radio IQ, a listener-supported community service of Virginia Tech, on your smart speaker and online at radioiq.org.
Marketplace is made possible in part by Olio Financial Planning, helping entrepreneurs and businesses with employee benefits, insurance, and tax planning. Details at meetolio.com.
Good evening. Item K, certification resolution. In the closed session just concluded, nothing was discussed except the matter which was identified in the motion to convene into closed session. Only those matters lawfully permitted to be discussed under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act were discussed. Is there a motion to adopt the certification resolution?
Move the motion.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Radford?
Yes.
Mrs. Hooker?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mrs. Shepherd?
Yes. Item L, second reading of ordinance and public hearing. The petition of Travis Bell to obtain a special use permit to operate a commercial kennel on approximately 3.64 acres zoned AG1 Agricultural Rural Low Density District located at 6754 Grubb Road and 0 Grubb Road, Cave Spring Magisterial District. Philip Thompson, Director of Planning, for the second reading and public hearing. Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. As you mentioned, this is a special use permit for commercial kennel in the AG1 zoning district. Two properties kind of been modified along the way, but for this application, it's two properties off of Grubb Road. Grubb Road is off of Cotton Hill Road in the Cave Spring Magisterial District. The two addresses for the property are 6754 Grubb Road and 0 Grubb Road, which is the property behind it. There are 2 acres and 1.64 acres in size. That gives you the 3.64. Single-family dwelling is on the one property and vacant on the back. So they are proposing single-family and commercial kennel. And again, that's why they're requesting the special use permit. The special use permit is required in the AG1 district. So originally this went to the Planning Commission on June 2nd. There were letters mailed out, 15 to surrounding property owners and tenants. We received 6 written comments that were submitted to staff. Their main concerns included noise, property values, traffic, and environmental impacts. Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on June 2nd on a similar application. It was just the one property, not the 2 properties. So they did recommend approval of the special use permit at that point. There were 15 citizens who spoke at the public hearing. They spoke in opposition. Concerns included information in the application being inaccurate and insufficient, inconsistencies with the rural village future land use designation and the zoning ordinance purpose statement. The application references to scalability and growth, more suitable commercial location exists for this use, not at this location. The notification process, the geographic location of those who signed the neighborhood support survey, traffic, road maintenance, privacy and safety, the number of dogs already seeking service, lack of inspections, noise, property values, and public health. There were also concerns raised about whether the parcel addressed at 6754 Grub Road was 2 acres and would comply with the use of design standards for commercial kennel. So the deeded acreage is 2 acres. There was a plat that's contained in the application that shows that it was, while it hadn't been recorded, there's a survey that's showing 1.984 acres. So it was decided that they should revise their application, include, because they own the adjacent property. To include both, that would give you over the 2 acres. That's where the 3.64 comes, and eliminate any issues regarding that minimum 2 acres. And then for the second public hearing, that was July 7th. There were 34 letters submitted and 2 written comments were submitted to staff. They're included in your packet as well. So, aerial view of the property. You kind of see the house, kind of a fenced area, and then the accessory building to the back. That's the limitations of the commercial kennel. This is a view from Grub Road, looking up the driveway. So Grub Road is a public road and then becomes a private road. And then Sugar Ridge Rome Road, or Sugar Rome Ridge Road, goes to the right, which is a private road. And you can see where the end of the state maintenance is. And then to the right is a private road. And then again, Grub Road from that point going back is a private road. It accesses their property, the 2 properties, and then there's another house behind it. Grub Road, that is. Again, there's the location of the house and the fencing, the accessory dwelling unit that's will be utilized in the commercial kennel, kind of the fenced area with kind of screening on it. This is the Grub Road as it goes up towards their property on the left, but also it accesses another home at the very end of it as well. Kind of looking at from behind the tree line as part of the house as well. There is an accessory shed, and as you're going, all the cleared areas on the main parcel, as you get to the second parcel, it is all wooded. Again, just some other photos of that property. In there, in the application, there's a setback map of from the house, the fenced area, and the accessory building, what those setbacks are to property lines. So that kind of gives you that distances for that. And this comes into play when we look at what the Planning Commission recommended as far as conditions go. Also looking at distances to the closest property owners. It averages anywhere from 240 feet to 608 feet of all those properties. And again, it's the compound. Those are the distance from that compound, the house, the fenced area, and the accessory structure to those surrounding properties. So, commercial kennel is defined as the boarding, breeding, raising, grooming, or training of 2 or more dogs, cats, or other household pets of any age not owned by the owner or occupant of the premises for commercial gain. There are certain use and design standards for general standards for kennels. One is that they need to install and operate a kennel silencer. Animal waste shall be disposed in a manner acceptable to the Department of Health, and you cannot cremate or bury animals associated with the commercial kennel. There are also additional standards in the AG1, 8R, and AV districts. One of those is the minimum lot size is 2 acres. Number 2, and this is what comes into play in this case, is that all outdoor runs, outdoor training areas, and outdoor pens associated with the commercial kennel shall be set back a minimum of 100 feet from any property line. However, the 100-foot setback may be reduced by the Planning Commission and the board during the special use permit process. When adjoining a residential use type, a type C buffer in accordance with section 30 shall be provided along the property line which adjoins the residential use type. And then the site shall front on and have direct access to a publicly owned and maintained street. So the services that is being proposed or will be part of the commercial kennel Boarding, so boarding is no more than 2 animals per day or participants per day. It's climate-controlled suites. Again, the boarding generally takes place indoors. Doggy daycare, this is what probably the majority of the business is from the number of dogs that would be on site. It would be anywhere from 5 to 10 dogs per day. They do have a 1,800 square foot common area. That's the fenced area between the house and the accessory structure. And they do also have a detached garage that they use as part of the business as well. Grooming, if they offer that, generally 3, they're anticipating that they may give 3 baths and 3 nail trimmings per week. Office hours generally is 7:30 to 6. It's closed on Sunday. Dog and daycare, they can drop off between 7:30 and 9. And it's closed on Sunday, and pickup is between 4 and 6 p.m., again, during the day. Boarding, generally, they could drop off, I guess, stay during the day, and then also be picked up Monday through Sunday, 4 to 6 as well. Existing zoning, it's AG1. It's surrounded by AG1. The further you go out, there is some AR zoning as well. So generally, immediately surrounding it is AG1. Rural Village is the future land use designation. Limited development activity has historically occurred. These rural community and farming areas are generally in between intense urban development patterns and established in the county. And again, they do allow limited commercial uses. The proposed special use permit is consistent with this future land use designation. So the public hearing that was just last week, last Tuesday, there were 4 citizens who spoke during the public hearing, 3 opposed, 1 in support. Concerns raised included regulation changes and compatibility, application information inconsistencies, setback reduction from the property lines, existing septic system to handle the gray water from grooming services, vegetative buffers, use not compatible with the neighborhood, number of dogs on site, environmental issues, and noise. Again, the Planning Commission discussed the differences between the first application and the revised application, the notification process, the animal code, and the number of foster dogs allowed, previous zoning complaint, zoning ordinance amendment process, the land use application requirements and process, the fact that we've had no noise complaints received on the property, number of dogs that can be kept on the property, special use permit conditions, operations of the commercial kennel that the applicant will go into that deals with waste management, cleaning and maintenance, safety measures, fencing and screening, and use of the kennel silencer, and surrounding zoning and future land use designation. So the Planning Commission voted to recommend approval of the special use permit for the commercial kennel in the AG1 zoning district with 3 conditions. 1, the maximum number of dogs on site shall be limited to 12 between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. The maximum number of dogs on site overnight, and that's after 6 p.m. and before 7:30 a.m. the following day, shall be limited to 2. So that's the overnight boarding. And the setbacks of all outdoor runs, outdoor training areas, and outdoor pens associated with a commercial kennel shall be in substantial conformance with the setback map, that's the map that I showed earlier, submitted by the applicant. With that, I'll be happy to take any questions that you have.
Are there any questions for Mr. Thompson?
I got several, but you can start at that end.
Okay. Okay. I know it's in your district, so
That's okay.
I'll ask the obvious question. Philip, how does commercial kennels operate different than that noise nuisance that we came up with a couple of years ago for dogs that wouldn't quit barking beside a neighbor?
It would still apply.
It would still apply?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's 2 things, I think, when you deal with noise, I think, for the consideration. One, I think it's the operation of the kennel itself, right? So we're talking about 2 that'll be boarded overnight. So again, it will be indoors, and I don't know how much noise will be made overnight with only 2 dogs on site. Again, they're coming during the day, and I think part of the operation is they're indoors part of the day and they're outdoors part of the day. They're supervised when they're outside. Again, the applicant will go more into the operations. So I think that's one thing. It's okay. It's a fairly small scale operation, and there's times where they're outdoors, there's times where they're indoors. Two is there's the noise ordinance that's in place. There's also the animal and fowl ordinance. I think that has some regulations, and they're both contained in the packet that we included that have certain regulations that deal with noise or barking dogs as well, or whining dogs. So I think all that plays in. Also, they do have a kennel silencer, which is required, which has some effect of trying to limit dog noise or barking or whatever. And the applicant can go into more detail about how that works if you want that information. The other thing I think there are things is he does have a tarp to help block some of the noise on the one side. I think you saw in the pictures. It is a fairly wooded site, and the surrounding area is fairly wooded. I think topography comes into play as well. So I think those are all factors you can look at to help mitigate noise.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I have a question. Just a couple of questions that I had too. When we're looking at the potential for a maximum of 12 dogs, it's really not about the 3.64 acres. It's more about the immediate area where those dogs will be mostly kept, which sounds like it'll be either inside the house or that secondary structure, or in that fenced-in area, which is like 280 feet. I think I saw that number somewhere.
No, so if you look at the compound, so the 280 feet is the accessory structure.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if you look at the house, so the compound, the fenced area is 1,800 square feet.
Okay.
The house, the compound, and the accessory structure, if you look at it, is about 3,500 square feet.
Okay.
But obviously, when they're indoors, that helps mitigate
Sure.
noise or whatever. So if you look at the 3.64, the 3,500 square feet is roughly 1% of the entire property.
Sure.
So it is a small area. Again, I think obviously it's supervised. The dogs aren't just put out for a period of time. They are, my understanding, again, you may want to talk, the applicant will go through this about their operation and how they operate. But somebody's out there with the dogs when they're outside.
And they'll always be inside that fenced-in area.
Correct.
If they're not in a building? Okay.
Correct.
And I saw something about a type C buffer, but this is a fairly wooded area. How does that come into play?
Most likely, the existing vegetation would beat that.
Would suffice.
And if it didn't, we would then have them supplement that.
Sure. I have no further questions.
Yeah, so maybe I'm imagining this, but wasn't this facility operating before the
It is
application?
operating.
And when it was operating like that, did we ever have any complaints, police reports?
Right, we submitted, so one of the things that came up, obviously, during the June 2nd was noise. So one of the first things that we did after that meeting was we reached out to, I think it's Brittany Money, who's the crime analyst for the police department, asking if any noise complaints had been received in the general vicinity, and she responded that none had been received on Grubb Road and two of the adjacent roads. And so then I asked, our zoning administrator, Becky James, had forwarded that to me, and then I asked the question, how long has that been, or how long did that go back? And she said 10 years.
10 years.
So again, there haven't been any noise complaints that have been filed with the police department on this property.
So if I heard you right, there was no problem for the last 10 years?
Right, but it's
Of
only been,
significance?
I think it's been in operation roughly, I think it's been saying about 2 years,
Yeah.
or 2+ years. So, but yes, that's in your, we included that email in your packet from the crime analyst.
I noticed in another municipality that they had a similar operation, that they had some issues with the heat. So how does this address the heat when it's 9,500 degrees? Are the dogs moved inside then?
They are, and again, I'll let the applicant talk about the operations. And so the other thing that we did after is we visited the site and went to the site, because obviously, you hear issues and you want to see it. And again, most of the dogs were inside when we were there. Again, when it's 95 degrees, I mean, you'll understand when the applicant comes up here is they'll be put out, but for short durations of time.
Yeah.
They're going to be inside. I don't think people are giving doggy daycare for you to take their dog and leave them outside in 95 degrees.
Right.
So I think he'll talk about the operations and how they deal with that. Obviously, when it's cooler, I'm sure they're out maybe for a little bit longer period of time. But yeah, they're not going to be put out when it's excruciating heat.
Okay, thanks.
So, Mr. Thompson, tell me again, you responded to a question from Supervisor Hooker. What is the size of the outdoor?
1,800 square feet.
1,800 square feet. And then with respect to screening and buffering, from my review of all the different photos, as you said, the property looks largely wooded already, so there's a good chance the applicant may not have to install anything.
Good chance.
Okay.
We take existing, we don't want people to cut down existing vegetation to plant
Right.
vegetation.
To plant new trees.
Right, so
Exactly.
we will look at what's on site to see if it's adequate to meet the intent of the buffer.
Let's talk a little bit about the setback map.
Sure.
For the other board members, I think there are two pictures of that map. One is at page 300 in our agenda, and the other is at page 395.
It's also up here.
From, with your expertise, Philip, is there any way the kennel could be located that it would meet the 100-foot setback from any property line? Or is the lot, the way the lot is so configured that there's no way you could really do that?
It possibly could, but it would be behind the accessory structure.
Looks like it's the closest.
Right? So you'd be, I think part of the operation now is the boarding's done in the house. So if you're going to let the dog out, the dog's out for that portion of the time, you're going to let them out the back door or whatever to the kennel or the, so from an operational standpoint, I think what they have makes sense. If you're going to locate to make the buffer, it would be, I don't know if it'd be 1,800 square feet, but it would be behind, it would be between the two accessory structures.
Okay.
The existing that they're using, and then kind of, you saw a picture of a barn, a red barn on the property. That's that second structure, which is kind of falling down.
Again, in our agenda on page 396, staff had put together distances to adjoining homes, not the property lines, but the adjoining homes. Could you refresh or tell us what was the gist of the discussion by the Planning Commission drawing a distinction between distance to neighboring homes versus distance to property lines?
I think we were just showing where the closest residents were. I think that came up in the first hearing on June 2nd, so we just wanted to provide that to the Planning Commission for their information regarding, if they wanted that information in making their decision. The one thing I will say, again, I know it's 50 feet or 46 feet, and we went out there and obviously, it climbs pretty quick. So Sugar Rum Ridge Road climbs pretty quick. And so there is a distance, not only to the property line, but there is a distance from that property line to Sugar Rum Ridge Road that is pretty much going straight up, or it's going up, in elevation. So there is, if you want to call it, again, this is kind of the test case why we brought the amendment to you, right? There are certain things that in C2 and AG3, it's a by right, so we changed the language in the zoning ordinance to give that discretion to the zoning administrator, because it's by right, right? And the things to potentially look at in that consideration: topography, vegetation, surrounding land use, the extent of the operation, because obviously, commercial kennel could have could mean a lot of different things. It could be 50 dogs, which is a different situation than 10 during the day and 2 at night, right? A lot of times they also have individual runs. You'll see individual runs for commercial kennels. This is not the case. It's just a common area where they're allowed to go out and exercise for a period of time and then brought back in. So, again, you have the discretion to look at that, but you also, again, can make, with a special use permit, place conditions on it. This is what the Planning Commission recommended, was those 3 conditions. If you wanted additional plantings, again, it probably meets the C. Again, that could help, but.
And you're suggesting because I'm not sure how a kennel silencer works. So maybe we should ask the applicant.
They'll talk about it.
Good. Thank you. No more questions.
I have a question. Do you have a view of the outdoor area that, I don't know if I missed that. I saw one with the tarp.
Yeah, there's that one.
I couldn't tell much from that one.
Yeah, you kind of, so it's this fenced area.
Sasquatch.
It's that. You kind of see it connecting back in. We don't have it of the interior, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, okay.
And then you kind of see the back, you can kind of see the back
It's
side
just hard
here.
to tell how big that is.
It's basically the width of the house, a little bit wider than the house that comes back to the building.
Okay.
Right.
All right. All right. Did anybody else have any more questions?
I have one
Okay.
more, please. I know that one topic of conversation was the animal waste and how that would be disposed of in accordance to the health department. So what does that mean?
Well, what they do, there's also the county solid waste ordinance, right? Again, they'll talk about this as well, but typically they pick it up several times a day. After they're out in the yard, they'll pick it up, they'll double bag it and dispose of it in the solid waste like
Okay.
you're supposed to. That's what they do.
Okay. Easy enough. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Mr. Bell to speak, the petitioner. I was going to ask that same question. How does one dispose of it? So it doesn't go in our truck.
Hello.
Good evening.
I'm Travis. I live at 6754.
Okay.
My name's Clovis Bell. I'm Travis's father. I'm the co-owner of the property, but I live actually in Salem.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Did you want to share anything with us, or?
I think you did.
I have some things I did. We're requesting a commercial kennel license for a small home-based business to provide pet daycare and boarding services for a small number of dogs. The request is for a daycare group with a daily average of up to 10 dogs.
Sir, could you just get in front of the microphone so we could hear you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You go for it. The request is for a daycare group with a daily average of up to 10 dogs and a boarding group with a daily average of 2. Traffic will be minimum with only a small number of drop-offs in the morning and pickups in the afternoon. In order to make it easier for clients to locate his home and reduce any related traffic issues, all of Travis's street number signs have been replaced with new, larger, and more noticeable signs. Travis's previous employment includes over 10 years caring for dogs in a professional environment. His training and experience includes waste management protocols and commercial kennel cleaning techniques. And he also has a certification in the Fear-Free Initiative to prevent and alleviate fear, anxiety, and stress in pets. Travis has always had an empathy with animals, especially dogs. He recognizes and understands their character traits and their needs and fears, and they respond to him with trust and affection. Those who know Travis are aware of this connection, and they request his services because they know their pets will be safe with him. Travis provides his service to a small group of families, from local neighbors to those who drive longer distances. He is requesting this license to formalize his business and to be able to continue to provide his services to these families and others. There are 3 areas of Travis's property that form the core of his business: the main residence, the daycare building, and the play area that connects the two. In the residence, 2 upstairs bedrooms are used for boarding, and 1 room downstairs is used as part of daycare services. The daycare building is a converted 1-car garage with heating and air conditioning. The outdoor play area is approximately 1,800 square feet and is enclosed by a 6-foot fence. Pine shavings are used for ground cover and replaced as needed. There is a fire extinguisher, smoke detector, and air filter in each building. Indoor security cameras are installed in all rooms, and there are external security cameras to monitor the play area and the property. An emergency generator is on site and available in case of a power outage. A medical kit is also available should there be an accident or injury. In order to participate in either daycare or boarding, all dogs are required to be current on all required vaccinations, including canine distemper, rabies, and Bordetella. Daycare participants spend the majority of their time in the shared play area. They are brought into the daycare building from time to time during the day to rest and get out of the weather. While the daycare dogs are resting, the boarders have private use of the play area. Animal waste is collected throughout the day and placed in plastic bags. The bags are secured and placed in the county-supplied trash tote and are included with the residential collection. Gray water from bathing services is discharged into the home septic system. The septic system was cleaned and checked in 2019 when we purchased the property, and there have been no issues with it. The play area is sprayed monthly with a professional-grade EPA-registered disinfectant deodorizer sanitizer designed for vet clinics and kennels. The liquid concentrate is effective against viruses, bacteria, including E. coli, fungi, mold, and mildew. Maintaining a safe, calm, and quiet environment is crucial to the well-being of all participants, and the following items are key to that goal. There is 24/7 on-site supervision of all participants. When dogs are in the play area, they are supervised at all times. A kennel silencer is installed and used when necessary. 50 feet of fence screening is installed along the driveway side of the play area. The screening helps block the dog's view of vehicle and pedestrian traffic on the road and the shared driveway. It also blocks the dogs from seeing wildlife in the woods on that side of the play area. Blocking their view keeps the dogs calmer and reduces their urge to bark or chase things along the fence line. The fence screening also provides a barrier to help keep the dogs safer from outside contact. Travis strives to maintain a calm, safe, and loving environment for the pets in his care, for the peace of mind of their families, and to maintain a peaceful neighborhood in which to live. This isn't just Travis's business, it's where he lives, it's his home, it's his life, and it's his neighborhood too. Thank you for your time, and I hope that you'll approve this request.
Thank you. All right, do any of y'all have questions for the petitioner?
Tell me how a kennel silencer works.
I call it a bark box. It's essentially like a barking collar, but it's in like a box. And when the dogs bark, it sends out like a dog whistle noise. You know, you can't hear it, but they can hear it. And it's enough to get their attention to be calm and chill out. And I only really need to use it in the house. When we're outside, I just, you know.
So it's not a device you have to put on each dog?
No.
It's a device you have.
It's like an area of effect device.
Okay. And so if a dog barks, it makes a high-pitched noise
Yeah, it
that
sends out
humans
like a
can't
ping.
hear that. Okay.
Yeah.
In addition to, if this is approved, and in addition to all the dogs that would be allowed under the commercial kennel, do you have any other personal dogs or
I have
pets?
3 of my own.
So-
And I also foster for the pound.
Do you have any other pets besides that? So you could have potentially 15 dogs during the day?
Yes.
Your 3 plus?
Correct.
Okay. No additional questions?
Okay.
None.
I'll just make a note that I think it's interesting that this has been going on for a while and that we don't have any record of disturbances to date.
Correct.
So
I manage the noise very closely because, I live there too.
Sure.
I don't want a whole bunch of dogs barking,
Sure.
disturbing everybody. And when they start barking, I get on them and tell them, calm down, knock it off.
Sure.
We only have 3 rules: no barking, no fighting, no humping. I mean,
it's
pretty easy.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
Are you the only one that works all
Yes.
of these dogs during the
Yes,
day?
7 days a week, pretty much 24/7.
Okay. And
Except Sunday.
Well, I mean, I'm there, but I just
Sure.
don't do drop-offs and pickups on that day.
so do you have people drop off for like a week at a time, or is it just during the day, or?
For boarding, I'll have people drop off for a day up to 2 weeks. It just
Okay.
depends on how long they go out of town.
And do you take all kinds of dogs,
Mm-hmm.
or do you?
Yep, I take everything and anything.
So you might have a bull mastiff and a little Yorkie, or a little.
I actually have a little Yorkie that comes.
Okay, and that never causes a problem having one?
No, I mitigate, who I put out with who, I just don't throw everybody out in a big group together. You know, if they don't get along with somebody, they sit that group out, and I'll just rotate them in and out until everybody's, you know, in a group
Situated.
that's okay. I won't just put somebody, you know, if he doesn't like this dog, I'm not going to force him out there to be with him. I'll just switch him out.
Okay, all right. And I think that's all the questions I've got. So I guess at this time, we'll open the public hearing.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We appreciate all who have come to address the board today. When your name is called, please come forward and state your name and address prior to sharing your comments. Each person is permitted to speak for up to 3 minutes. At the front of the podium is a light system. That tells you how much time you have remaining. When the light changes from green to yellow, please share any concluding remarks. When the light changes from yellow to red, your time has ended. While the board desires to hear from all who desire to speak, we ask that speakers refrain from repeating comments already made by others. Is there anyone here that would like to speak that has not signed up to speak? Okay. With that being said, I would like to call Elaine, is it Quiros?
Quiros.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elaine Quiros. I live at 6815 Sugar Rum Ridge Road. The photos show, you know, I'm right across the street. The photos show a very rural area. If you zoom out, you have about 40 homes with a $35 million tax base, real estate tax base. The reason I mention that, you've got Cotton Hill Estates, Mason Knob Trail. Everyone on those streets are hearing dogs. And I know I hear dogs. I didn't know who to call to report the dogs, but I will in the future. But it's not a completely isolated area. I think our question is, it's not a question of whether Travis is good with dogs or likes dogs or has been trained to work with dogs. We all agree that he does. I think the question for us is this the right location and neighborhood for a commercial kennel? That application was submitted without a key question being answered, and that was, how does this affect adjoining properties? That question, that application was submitted with no answer. And, you know, we have tried before the Planning Commission to state facts versus opinions, facts about environmental concerns, facts about noise concerns, but, you know, we're actually told that these arguments were nothing but emotion. And it's very dismissive, I think, to us to have brought so many people, especially at the first meeting, that spoke in opposition of this, but did not really get the attention. We got the impression it's going to happen whether you like it or not. And all we keep asking is for a continuance. You don't even have to vote against it. We just would like to have the chance to put some time into looking at and getting our questions answered, such as how does it affect adjoining properties? Still no answer. But we haven't been allowed to ask questions. We have been allowed to speak. But I know that I have called and asked questions at the Planning Commission, and I've been told repeatedly, you can bring that up at the hearing. But I bring it up at the hearing, but I can't ask a question. So it's been very difficult for us. We're not quite sure why this huge push is to put it in it may be an AG1 area, but it is very residential. There are many, many, many homes nearby. And Travis did submit a statement called a neighborhood support survey with his application, saying, and it actually said, we support this in our neighborhood. It was signed by people from 5 to 12 miles away. Those are his customers. A neighborhood support survey should include the neighborhood. And it's just been completely overlooked. He has 2 streams within 50 feet of where these dogs are defecating and urinating. It's going into the water supply. It runs right into a children's park a little further down Cotton Hill Road. Every time we bring that up, it's, well, Planning Commission, that's not our problem. You'd have to take that up, you know, with an environmental concern. There are so many concerns. It's a 100-year-old house that's 900 square feet. with 16 dogs inside and no central air conditioning. There are window units, but it is an extremely hot house. The former tenants there, I was over at that house every day. It doesn't seem to be a suitable place for a commercial kennel in a neighborhood like that. And it's not serving the neighborhood itself. There may be one or two people in that area that use it, but by far the majority of people coming are not in that neighborhood. So, we feel that things like antibacterial sprays all over the ground within 40 feet of a stream, no one seems to want to look at that, and we just want a continuance so that we can have a chance to speak to those concerns.
Thank you. And if there's no one else that signed up. Okay, I want to go ahead and close the public hearing, and is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I will make a motion, but before I do, my initial response to reading the staff report was supportive of the application. And then as I went more into the staff report, I had some concerns, and I guess one of the larger concerns deals with that setback map that's at 395, where in effect we are waiving our own standards. And I understand that. We included that in our amendment to the zoning ordinance. And so I kind of wondered, is that a problem? And then as I looked at some of the other photographs, and then listening to Mr. Thompson about the topography and the differences in elevation, I could understand why the Planning Commission has recommended a reduction of that 100-foot setback distance from property lines, because it appears that because of topography and some other distances, the practical effect is the 100-foot distance is being met. And then if you go to page 396 of our agenda, where staff had put together some distances to neighboring homes, that kind of alleviated some of my concerns. So the one factual element that tipped my willingness to support and make a motion to approve this application is in large measure based upon the county's comprehensive plan. And our comprehensive plan designates this area as rural village. And one of the aspects of rural village is to support or permit small-scale commercial. This appears to me to be small-scale commercial. It appears to be a type of use, that is doggy daycare, that arguably is within the broader concept of an agricultural use. So with all that rambling, Madam Chairman, I would move that we approve the special use permit from Travis Bell for a commercial kennel. It does meet our requirements of 3019-1 of the county code, meets the standards set forth in Article 4, use and design standards. It is consistent with our comprehensive plan. As I mentioned, it is in rural village. I am concerned it will have an adverse impact on surrounding neighborhood, the surrounding neighbors. I believe, though, that the attempt by the Planning Commission to address that with the setback map attempts to address that. so that I do move we approve the petition. We include the 3 conditions: maximum number of dogs on site, we limited to 12 between the hours of 7:30 in the morning and 6 at night. The maximum number of dogs on site overnight after 6 p.m. and before 7:30 a.m. the following day shall be limited to 2. And then the setbacks for all outdoor runs, outdoor training areas, outdoor pens associated with the commercial kennel shall be in substantial conformance with the setback map. A question I have for the county attorney. The setback map is not dated or in any other fashion identified. So should I say that the setback map that is included on page 395 of the July 14th, 2026?
That would work well, just the setback map that was attached to the application or included with the packet.
So that's my motion, Madam Chairman.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Well, I do have another question that I will ask, and I don't know if this is Philip or Mr. Lubeck. If this is approved and then potentially becomes a problem, can that be retracted, or is that a permanent?
It cannot be retracted. If it is a problem with noise, that's certainly something that, if it's in violation of the noise ordinance, that could be reported to police for investigation and action. But no, the zoning could not be rescinded.
Okay, and then one other question I've got, and I want to clarify this. It states that he can have a maximum number of 12 dogs on the property. But does that 12 dogs include his 3?
No.
So he can have potentially 15
Right,
dogs?
so the conditions are associated with the commercial kennel use. So you have to separate, it's like any special use permit, it is tied to a specific use.
Okay.
So the commercial kennel use can only have 12 dogs.
Okay,
It doesn't affect his personal.
okay. All right, that's what I wanted. I just didn't know if we needed to clarify that.
Sure. I'll just make one point of clarity. The county attorney was talking about noise. Obviously, the 3 conditions of the special use permit, if there is a violation of those conditions, there is a process to repeal a special use permit, but it's not noise standards per se. It's the 3 conditions that are associated with it. So let's say all of a sudden there's 15 dogs being used for the commercial kennel, and there's evidence of that, and there's a violation of that. There is a procedure to remove a special use permit.
Okay.
So that's always an option, but it has to be in violation of that use in those conditions.
Okay, I have another question.
Sure.
So I have my golden doodles, and I'll just say it, I'm an A-type personality. Everybody that knows me knows that. So I am out either once or twice a day doing my scooping, and I see how much scooping that I have to do for those 2 dogs. My question is, say that Mr. Bale gets injured or decides he just doesn't want to scoop, and you have that constant whatever. Is
So
there something in there that states?
In the animal and fowl section, there is a thing about nuisance and maintaining property and what have you, dealing with that.
So there is something
There
to
is
fix
something
that
in
if we
animal-
needed to.
animal code.
Not that you wouldn't, I don't mean to be whatever, but that's just my,
And that would be similar if it was on a private piece of property as well. There is a standard that deals with when it becomes a nuisance.
okay. All right,
So-
thank you. All right, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Radford?
Yes.
Mrs. Hooker?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mrs. Shepherd?
Yes. Item M, reports and queries of board members. Mr. Radford?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I got a couple things to let the citizens know about. A couple weeks ago, I met with a group of residents up at Bent Mountain. They were with a group called Preserve Bent Mountain. And they, if you recall, they sent us a letter back in May asking for us to come up with a resolution in regards to the MVP boost station that is being proposed in Montgomery County. And that, our response at that time, while we all individually read that letter, there was no indication for us to take any action at the point. They were asking for us to do a resolution, and there was none at that point. Our administrator responded back to the group with basically there was no comment on that. Went back to one of the individuals that sent us the letter. Fast forward to today, I met with the group 2 weeks ago, and they wanted to know why we took no action. So I was with them for about an hour, and it was more of a learning a little bit more about how they're living with the pipeline in their backyard and what they have to go through every day. And so they're wearing the face of the pipeline on their property forever. And really, after talking for about an hour, they really summed it up is that they really want to fend off risk. And the risk is, you know, a catastrophic event like the pipe exploding. And so with that premise, you know, they want us as the county supervisors, the county whole, to understand their plight with what they have to deal with. And so they were talking about the application that MVP made to FERC. Federal, FERC stands for? Thank you. And the application was to build that compressor, get it approved. And it has to go through a lot of different permitting. And a couple of counties, Montgomery County and Craig County, both wrote a resolution opposing it and stating why they opposed it. So my purpose of my meeting was to find out a little bit more information about it. And they have a real compelling story and what they're dealing with. So as I have shared that with the five of you, I think we've come to the conclusion that we might want to have our administrator write a letter to FERC and trying to figure out what we want to say, and that is, more importantly, what's the air compressor going to do this close to, for example, Martha's subdivision, Campbell Hills? The noise, the air quality, there's things like that we would have questions about. Also, there's alternate sites on there, and those alternate sites are numbered 1 through 4. Site 3 is squarely in Roanoke County's jurisdiction, and it's in Martha's Catawba district, and it's really close to Campbell Hills. So we don't know how pertinent those alternate sites are. Alternate 4 site is up on top of Bent Mountain, and is actually in a historic district that one of the residents brought to our attention today in the earlier meeting. And don't understand why. These are some of the questions, Richard. You know, why would you want a compressor on top of a hill when you're trying to push gas up the mountain? So those are the type of things that we're not quite sure how to write it. So I think we're still in discussion. We need to figure out some research. And at the same time, Richard, for the 5 of us, a response by MVP in regards to the Montgomery County resolution, and it was a laid out methodical letter from MVP on what's going on with the compressor station. So I've read that information. Richard's read that information. We'd like to know more about the effect of that station, how big it is. Are there any drawings? You know, maybe MVP is listening to our meeting tonight and we'll be able to reply that. But I think we have more questions about it before we can respond to FERC. So, other than just saying we don't like it, okay? So, I would say that that's kind of where I am on that situation.
We will be happy to do some research in the docket, and again, I haven't visited one of the MVP compressor stations, but I think that could certainly be something we could consider doing as well, or have somebody go there to see one in real life, because there's 3 that are in operation now. So unlike a lot of the things we deal with as a county, this is not totally hypothetical. A little bit of a drive to get there. So we can pull together some information, and I can share that with you. And if you would like to have a work session, we'd be happy to schedule that as well.
Okay. And those residents, the group that I spoke with, they'd be more than happy to talk to the other members. They did have a short chat with Martha right after our earlier meeting, and just got a wealth of information. Another item, Madam Chair, is this coming week we have USA Cycling Mountain Bike National Championships.
You told me last year that you were going to be racing in it. What in the world is going on that you're not enlisted?
And I try to run those courses, and they are elite national caliber. And the group that I would be competing against would be teenagers, 19-year-olds and up. There's no age group. So I would be coming in dead last, and I did do the course. It's a very competitive course.
But at least you could say you did it.
Well, I did it, but I'm just not in it. I did it. So I've cleared that hurdle. I feel really good. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. North.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Staff took a tour yesterday along with Commonwealth Transportation Board Representative Dr. Ray Smoot to review specifically 8 applications for smart scale road projects that have to be filed by August the 1st. 4 of those are with Roanoke County, and 4 of the Roanoke County projects are going to be filed on behalf of Roanoke County by the Roanoke Valley Transportation Planning Organization. Some of those are Plantation Road transit access and pedestrian safety improvements at Hirschberger Road to Hollins Road, which is a high accident area. Route 419 at Colonial Avenue safety improvements. Pedestrian improvements at Peters Creek Road and Airport Road, along with Peters Creek Road and Barron's Road. In the RVTPO applications, it's 419 multimodal safety improvements from Starkey Road to Colonial Avenue. Peters Creek Road corridor safety improvements at Airport Road to Williamson Road, and Peters Creek Road at Williamson Road roundabout is proposed. And Route 419 at Chaparral Drive intersection improvements as well. Now, in round 6, 2 years ago, we got nothing. And a lot of other people didn't either because of the pot of money available, but also each one of these will be scored by VDOT. So we will find out in January of next year how we fared on these 8 projects. And if we get 1 or 2, hopefully we'll be happy. However, if we get close to the cut line but don't make it with a project, that's when we go to the political action efforts of Dr. Smoot working with his fellow members of the Commonwealth Transportation Board to work out arrangements where we can get support on the board to get that project funded. That's how you got the 419-220 project that's going on down here near Tanglewood. That got approved about 5 years ago and is moving along. And by the way, most of these that get approved, they don't happen for 5 years anyway because they have to be put into the VDOT 6-year plan. By the way, just before the meeting today, there was a press release from the governor's office that indicated that the adopted minimum budget incorporates $585 million of the surplus July 1st. The surplus was $2 billion. $2 billion. And so $585 million of that surplus is going to be incorporated into the current 2-year budget that was approved finally at the end of June. And most of this was driven because of 2 factors. The income tax accounted for 2/3 of the surplus of $2 billion, and strong sales tax receipts accounted for the other 1/3. So I hope that those strong sales tax receipts translate over into Roanoke County so we get at least what we got the past year for tax revenues. Because sometimes some areas have more tax revenue than others, but hopefully we'll find that out whenever the books close in 2 or 3 months. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Hooker?
I didn't think I had any comments initially, but I wanted to follow up on some of David's comments and just speak to a couple of items. I have not heard from any of my Catawba residents on the potential for this alternate site near Campbell Hills. And I do have a couple of questions for staff also on if we could get some more information on that, how close that compressor station might be to the nearest resident, and what other impacts, noise, air pollution, that might. I'm assuming that's a diesel generator?
Gas.
No, it's actually,
Gas?
yeah,
Well, that
turbine
makes sense.
powered off of the gas from the
That
lines.
makes sense.
Kind of like a jet engine in a box.
Gotcha. And maybe we could coordinate a visit, and if staff would help point me in the right direction for that, I'd like to take a look at it myself. So, thank you very much.
Mr. Mahoney?
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but then I learned tonight at dinner from our county administrator that it appears that the General Assembly, in its wisdom of developing an affordability agenda for the citizens of the Commonwealth, have significantly cut dollars that were going to be granted to localities so that we could use some of those dollars to hire school resource officers. And so if you're talking about affordability, don't you think we ought to protect our kids in our schools? And we're cutting, the General Assembly in its wisdom and glory has decided to cut that. And I find that very offensive. And I hope our newspaper would write that and let the citizens know what the clowns in Richmond were doing. They're hurting our kids, and that's wrong. I'm sorry, that's it.
You know, with $2 billion, you'd think they'd have a little bit of sense to carry it over.
Well, I guess protecting children is not part of the affordability agenda.
Did you have some?
Strange times.
Well, I do not have a whole lot to share tonight, except I wanted to extend a thank you to the town of Benton for allowing me to participate in their July 4th festivities. And if you've never been to that, you missed it this year, but maybe you should go next year. They did a fantastic fireworks show. They had a lot going on down there. They had some big foam pit that I don't know how they ever got all that stuff cleaned up, that kids could play in, and they would come out of it and the foam would be stuck to them, and then they'd be running through the fields and the foam's flying off. It was, anyway, they had a great time. So they had a lot of local vendors, and they had all the restaurants were opening down in Benton and holding just different functions and things like that. So next year, if you're around, make sure you go on July 4th and check it out. Another thing that I wanted to add is the Tavern Stage Summer Music Series at the Explore Park is Friday, July 24th, and we have Creedence Clearwater Recital, which is a tribute band, and they are returning back for their 3rd year. And I've had a lot of people tell me they love that band. I've not heard them, but they enjoy going to it. Twin Creeks Brew Pub will be open from 6 to 10 p.m., the live music from 6:30 to 9. And you might want to bring a lawn chair or blanket to sit on. They will have food and beverage items, and it is completely free for admission. So if you don't have anything to do, check that out. And then on August the 7th, the Brothers Young will be playing there, and everything will be the same, open from 6 to 10, live music 6:30 to 9, and don't forget your lawn chairs. And other than that, that's all I've got. So we will go to an adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Radford?
Yes.
Mrs. Hooker?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mrs. Shepherd?
Absolutely, yes.